For 3 days, he was hung on a meat hook and hurt by Lamont at large. We're gonna look at this. I have no idea what to expect here. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. This is the best you could do. Best way to support me. We'll go in. Yeah, we'll see. That doesn't sound particularly fun.
1950s Chicago was truly a gangster's paradise. Guns, drugs, illegal gambling, houses of prostitution, racketeering. A truck hauling a load of cigarettes suddenly disappears. The Chicago Police Department, overwhelmed and underpaid, could do little more than watch the lawlessness careen out of control like a crazed Hollywood car chase.
So basically Gotham? Basically Gotham, but without the Batman. And with no Batman, Gotham goes to shit. That's essentially what it is.
And in the middle of all the insanity was one man who wanted a piece of it all. Enter one William Jackson, the original Action Jackson, if you will, the nickname Action being a slang word for juice man, which meant debt collector. A loan shark would not want to soil his own hands dealing with people who had acquired unpaid debts.
Well, maybe not soiling your hands, but definitely soiling your pants. Anyways, interesting. Fat Thanos, basically New York, basically modern New York.
Sam, Raymond, or Bobby were racking up gambling debts and they didn't want to pay up, you gave Action Jackson a call and he would take care of it all. Described by the police as a man with the body of a giant and the brain of a child, people called him FBI behind his back, and it didn't stand for funny, beautiful, and intelligent. What Jackson lacked in intelligence, he made up for in pure and unbridled brutality. If you got a knock on the door and he was in front of it, you could expect anything from a broken eye socket to a broken pinky finger, or if you really messed up, never to be seen again. In his previous criminal career, he was a stupid crook with arrest for assault, robbery, and rape.
Oh, bro didn't just want it all, he did it all. Bro just ticked everything on the box, all the shit you can do, horrible shit, horrible garbage you can do, just like, bro was like, tick, 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 tick.
Even though the latter charge didn't stick, he ended up being given an 8-year prison sentence. And what was supposed to be a punishment for 8 years turned into 4 years of making new friends, learning new ways of committing crimes, and mingling with some of Chicago's most notorious mobsters. Jackson came out with some new tricks up his sleeve and a brand new job. Enforcer for the Chicago outfit, ran by Sam DeStefano. Jackson was now making more money than ever before, and sure, the hours could be somewhat erratic, but Mafia bosses could always count on Action Jackson to pick up the phone at 2.
To be fair, oh, he's balding also. To be fair, I think when it comes to Mafia, I think my brother's a fiance, and her dad is in some way, shape, or form related to some shady business. That man is money with no end. I don't know where he gets it all. But one thing's for certain. That man, if I criticize this man, he's getting rid of me. He's getting rid of me. If I ever shit on this woman, he's getting rid of me. I'm not seeing the light of the next day, that's for sure.
2 a.m. if a couple of legs needed to be broken in multiple places. However, the rotund mob associate got too comfortable with his position in the outfit, with several mob bosses believing that Jackson was skimming off the gambling profits. Oh, and the rape thing. There was the rumor that Jackson couldn't keep his hands to himself. In 1961, Jackson was arrested with 5 others at a warehouse as they were unloading $70,000 worth of electrical appliances that were hijacked from a truck. After being arrested and taken to...
Not bad, yet you do it all. The time she just doesn't know it yet. Huh? I'm a nice man. I am a nice man, okay? I'm a nice man.
The Cook County Jail, it was learned from officers that Jackson was an enforcer for Sam DeStefano. This information was forwarded to the FBI, and an agent by the name of Bill Romer, who would go down as being one of the most highly decorated FBI agents of all time, wanted to talk to the man. He went to the jail and approached the fat man with an offer he couldn't refuse, becoming a confidential informant with the FBI. All his charges would be dropped. He could start a new life in the witness protection program. Jackson kindly turned down the offer. In hindsight,
Interesting. So he turned down the offer. Now the thing is though, right? Where's this all going? We still have a little bit to go to find out whether or not how this man was, how do I say this? Hooked. That's the only word.
him taking the offer would have saved his life. After getting out of jail, it was business as usual for Jackson, but not according to outfit gangsters Tony Accardo and Fifi Busheri. Rumors started swirling within.
I'm gonna say this. Why do all mafia men have big fucking noses? I don't mean long, but like this chunky, chubby noses. Like, why are they always so big? Is it to smell money? I don't know. Interesting. They all have big, chubby noses.
The outfit that Jackson had turned into a paid FBI informant. A rat. A no good, dirty rat. And this fat rat had to go. On August 12, 1961, a 1956 Cadillac with a rotten smell emanating out of the trunk was found abandoned on Lower Wacker Drive. After running the plate, dispatch came over the radio to tell police it was registered to one William Jackson. When the trunk was opened, a disfigured blob of what used to be a human body was found stuffed inside.
Ugh! Well, that's kind of disfigured is kind of crazy. What did they do to this poor man?
The stiff was transferred to the Cook County coroner for a proper ID and autopsy. After the positive ID of Jackson and the final autopsy report came out, it was only then that the heinousness of what was done to Jackson was revealed.
William Action Jackson had been a juice collector for the mob, and they thought he had become an FBI informant, which he had not, but they thought he had. And so what they did, in order to try to get him to admit that he had been an FBI informant, they took him, they abducted him physically, and they took him to a meat plant, a meat factory where they
Oh, a meat factory. Well, it probably wasn't to get a steak, that's for sure. The bigger the nose, the bigger the aura. So it would seem, and that's why guys do get involved with the mafia. Yeah. I wouldn't do that. I'd have too much to lose. The guy that makes the video tried to adjust and talk like mafia guy. It was a rat, a worthless, stinky rat. That's what Asmund discovered in his room when he cleaned it.
hung meat, and they put him up on a meat hook through his. They hung him on.
Ah! Well, that's one way to explore the back door. Ew! That must have hurt. That must have... Into his boot... Into the booty hole! Let me repeat that as well. The anus is a reproductive organ. Nothing is supposed to get in there. Anyways.
On this meat hook, 300 pounds Jackson weighed. They hung him on this meat hook. They tied him up so that he couldn't wiggle his way off. And then they got a cattle prod. And they electrified that cattle prod, and they stuck it in his... And they...
Yo! Well, my boy got Kayet, my bro got Kayet, his PP got Kayet. But, What the fuck? Oh, that's freaky. Oh, these guys are freaky, freaky. They shoved it up his booty hole. They put something in his pee-pee. They what else? And they electrocuted him too. Oh, that's roasted sausage.
They left him there, trying, in the meantime, interrogated him concerning his relationship with the FBI, which was non-existent, and they tortured him for 3 days. Never did really kill him, but he naturally expired through the excruciating pain.
Judging by the extensive wounds all over the body and the time of healing in between, it was found that Jackson was hung for 3 days while having both of his kneecaps shattered with a baseball bat. He was shot with a small caliber handgun and was severely beaten, had rope marks on his wrist and feet. He had many cuts and burns all over his body. He had at least 6 broken ribs and had a large amount of burn marks on his body, which appeared to have been made possibly by a blowtorch.
Oh, bro, they obliterated this man, right? They obliterated this man, and how do I say this? That's messed up. Yeah, no shit. They actually they went through with this, and he didn't even do anything.
Chest had been crushed, and he had a hole in his right ear made from some type of a sharp object similar to an ice pick. He also had electrical type burns up and down the anterior and posterior sides of the body made from a cattle prod type instrument. And his genitals had been burned off, more than likely.
Oh, it's not just like they tortured him, they just removed it entirely. Oh my god. Oh, I feel that. 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 It's just gone. His best piece was just gone. The balls included.
Likely from the combination of electrical and thermal burns. During the process, Jackson had evacuated his bowels. The medical examiner and all of his assistants have identified this as the worst signs of torture any of them had ever seen in all of their years. After his corpse was released, his family had a Catholic burial at Mount Carmel Cemetery in Hillside, Illinois. And once again, here we are at the Mount Carmel Cemetery here in Hillside.
Damn, he's locked in. He even goes there. That's pretty interesting. Bro, that's crazy.
Just outside of Chicago. And this is the grave of William Action Jackson. He is buried alongside of his parents.
Barely 40, by the way.
William and Margaret, and on their other side is his younger brother James. I'm not really sure what happened to him. I would definitely say that this is
so Mafia people aren't the nicest people out there. Oh, yeah, but bro, you gotta be a bit classy. Be a bit classy. You're not gonna get any information if you burn the man's wiener off.
Probably in the top 3 worst ways I've ever heard somebody died. Other than like in the medieval times, you know, I'm talking about like modern times. Yeah, this is definitely top 3. You know, you gotta understand.
They got pretty damn creative, I must admit.
If you live by the sword, you will surely die by it as well. And
well, somebody didn't just die by the sword. Somebody's sword got burned off. That's sad. Yeah, it is sad. Wait, that entire family's just gone. Right? Eradicated.
Nah, he did a lot of janky things in his life, and you know, who knows? Was he really truly a snitch, or was it mistaken? Who knows? Yeah, but they worked him over good.
he would be lying right in this space where I'm standing right here. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm on to the next.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the end of the video. So, what we had here, the parents saw one of their kids being reduced to just a blob of Maz, and the other died young as well. Or from what I can tell, no, they actually didn't. He died after them. He died after them. They didn't see shit. They did, however, see the younger brother die, but they didn't see him die. But it's weird because 1955, 1961, so they couldn't have seen him. That means whoever buried him was not like his parents, probably like wife and children and others, because that's the only option, right? He died later. He died in 1961. Both parents died before that. So there's that. Interesting. Yeah, that is kind of quite horrifying and quite gruesome. They burned off his crown jewels. They shoved a hook up his booty hole, and they burned. He had multiple burns and 6 broken ribs and a hole through his ear. That's crazy. Oh, never mind. I just assumed that because he was only 40. They all didn't live that long, right? So, 1892 to 1955. That's not super old, right? The other son, 1922 to 1938, right? Was it? So that's what, 16? The father died before the mother in 1949 from 1895. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. They were all not particularly old. But why did you do this? I did do nothing. Nobody has died because of me. Nobody. Anyways, that's insane. That is insane.